A country considered the last remaining Shangri-La and the happiest place in the world. It is landlocked and located in the vast Himalayan range. If you haven't guessed already or read the title, today I will be talking about Bhutan. It's G to the E to the O to the G to the R to the A to the PHY time. In this section, I'll be sharing some of the basic facts about the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan. Bhutan has a population of 750,000 people as of 2013. However, some experts state that it might have gone all the way up to 800,000 as of 2016. Bhutan's capital is Thimphu, not Thimphu, not Thimphu, Thimphu, with a population of 91,000 people. Bhutan's national language is Dzongkha, a simpler form of Tibetan. However, it is still complicated to read and write Dzongkha, so all school subjects are learned in English and people text each other in English. This is because English is easier to write and more widely used. Almost everyone speaks English in Bhutan. It is an extremely English-friendly country. Every sign or shopfront in Bhutan is written in both Dzongkha and English, and in some cases it is only written in English. Everyone I went up to in Bhutan spoke very good English, and I was completely shocked by this, as I had never ever read about Bhutan being an English-friendly country. Bhutan is one of the least visited countries in the world, with just over 30,000 tourists visiting the country in 2011. I visited this year, one of the only 1,000 Brits that will have by the end of this year. Chad had almost double the amount of tourists in 2011. The reason why Bhutan has such a low amount of tourists is probably due to the $250 tariff that the Bhutanese government imposes on all tourists. I talk about this in the passport and visas section. The currency of Bhutan is the Bhutanese ngultrum, which is of equal value to the Indian rupee. So here are a few more notes from Bhutan. These are all Bhutanese ngultrum. I got these when visiting Bhutan. Unfortunately, I don't have a 1 ngultrum note, and that right there is Thai baht. The flag consists of an orange half, a yellow half, and a really cool scaly dragon in the middle. Personally, it is one of my favourites, if not my favourite flag in the world, for its vibrant orange and yellow colours, and obviously the freaking dragon. Bhutan is bordered by the Chinese autonomous region of Tibet and India. Bhutan is often seen to be the only carbon neutral country in the world, but in actual fact it's even better than carbon neutral. It is a carbon negative country. This means that it produces less carbon dioxide than it takes in. The last basic fact you should know is that Bhutan is a Buddhist nation, with 75% of people in Bhutan being Buddhist. This section is about transport within the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan. Despite many attempts from many countries to build one, Bhutan does not have a railway. This is because it would be very expensive and hard to build a railway with the rugged Himalayan terrain that Bhutan has. Whilst I was in Bhutan, I was also told that it was because the Bhutanese government wants to maintain its environment, and by building a railway the environment would be affected greatly. However, currently India and Bhutan are discussing building a railway between Siliguri and Taranga. Bhutan does have buses, and there are two main types of buses. The first one is regional, which is the type of bus you can see in the top left of the image on screen, and these buses go across the country and the journeys take multiple days, and they are fully air-conditioned Toyota buses which can cope with unpaved roads. These have come from Japan, And at the bottom right are the local buses. The local buses are mainly found in the capital city Thimphu, and they are larger than the regional buses, and they take 30 minutes to 1 hour. Bhutan also has taxis. They tend to be small petrol cars, but as shown above, some are electric Nissan Leafs. The cars have the city they are based in written in bold white letters on the side. These taxis drive passengers all around the country, and some journeys can take days. Taxi drivers can only pick up passengers from the province stated on the side, but can drop off passengers anywhere. Bhutan has 4 airports, but only 2 airports are open. The only international airport is located in Paro. The only functioning domestic airport is located in Jakarta. There are 2 airlines which fly to the country. The largest one is Drukair, which is the aeroplane shown on screen, which is 50% owned by the state and 50% owned by private companies. The airline flies to India, Thailand, Bangladesh, Nepal and Singapore. The other is Tashi Air, which is 100% privately owned by the richest man in Bhutan. Bhutan has a variety of different number plates, depending on what type of vehicle and who drives it. The normal number plate starts with the initials BP, standing for Bhutan Private, and is a red colour. To analyse the rest, be sure to pause the video right now and take a look. When Chile and Bhutan had a baby, it was called Bhutanese cuisine. But Chile is also busy having babies with other things. In this section, I'll be talking about food in the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan. Probably the most famous dish from Bhutan. It is called emerdatse. It is served on Drukair flights with every hot meal. I personally was too scared to try it when going to Bhutan, but my dad tried it and said that it was like nothing he had had before and that he loved it. What is it, you may ask? It is basically thin slices of chili in a cheese sauce. Simply put, it is what you get if a chili made a baby with cheese. Cheese is like the person you know who is always dating on Tinder, constantly dating different people. It is in a lot of Bhutanese food. For example, ewadatse is very popular, which is cheese with potato. Do not confuse this with emerdatse. Emerdatse is chili and ewadatse is potato. Another common Bhutanese dish is red rice. It isn't really anything special and tastes the same as plain rice in my opinion, but it looks cool, I guess. Also, a fun fact, red rice is the only agricultural export to the USA that Bhutan has. Bhutan also has its own version of beef jerky. I'm unsure what it is called though. It is slightly less dry than beef jerky, and since it is soaked in chili oil, it is much more spicy. I tried it, it was extremely chewy, but the flavour was nice. The reason why there is a lot of dried meat in Bhutan is because usually, or in the olden days, Bhutanese people used to have to trek throughout the whole winter, as a lot of the old Bhutanese people used to be nomadic, and the only way they could preserve their meat was by drying it and soaking it with a lot of salt and chili. Since this whole video has had food relationships in it, for the Bhutanese beef jerky, it is like a cow made a baby with a chili in an oven. I know, weird, right? As a tourist in Bhutan, most of the food is quite bland, as it is prepaid for you by your tour company. The food usually comes in the form of a buffet, but sometimes it is just given to you. All the meat that you eat will have lots of bones in it, as Bhutanese people believe that the more bones in the meat, the better the meat is. I almost cracked my tooth on a bone whilst I was there. I actually ate at the buffet shown on the right. It is located between Gangte and Punakha. However, it was one of the worst restaurants I ate in along the whole trip. However, you can't really pick what restaurants you eat in, as there are limited restaurants on the car journeys you make in Bhutan, and your tour guide already picks all the restaurants you will eat in before you have even landed in Bhutan. In this section, I'll be talking about the passport and visas in the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan. The only 3 nations in the world which get visa-free access to Bhutan are the Maldives, India, and Bangladesh. Now, with these countries, it doesn't matter what passport you have, all passports from these countries get visa-free access to Bhutan. Also, holders of diplomatic or official/service passports of Switzerland and Thailand do not require a visa to visit Bhutan for up to 90 days. Unfortunately, the rest of the world needs a visa in order to see the beautiful kingdom of Bhutan. To top this off, each person has to pay a minimum of $250 a day. No wonder Bhutan is one of the least visited countries in the world. But with this tariff, you get your own personal driver and guide when visiting, which gives many people in Bhutan jobs. This right here is what a Bhutan visa stamp looks like. Now, it isn't a visa on arrival. You just get given your visa on arrival. You have to apply for it beforehand. And you get the triangle when you initially enter along with this. And then when you exit, you get this triangle here. You can't just come without documents. You will have been sent a massive form of documents beforehand by the Bhutan Immigration Council, and then you give it to the border when you arrive and they'll take them off you. You do need individual visas for each province you want to go to around Bhutan, but you don't get stamps in your passport for that. A Bhutanese passport is not great to have if you are a world traveller, because it doesn't give you a lot of visa-free access. I advise you to pause the screen now to get a better look at where you can go to visa-free with a Bhutanese passport. However, not all is bad. Bhutan, along with Nepal, is the only country with unlimited visa-free access to India. Bhutan has different types of passports depending on who you are. Blue is the most common passport, as it is the normal passport for citizens. Red is the official passport for the country. Lastly, Bhutan has a white passport, which is for those who have done service. Although the internet says the official passport colour is red, this is wrong according to my Bhutanese tour guide when I was there, and I can confirm this when going through the border. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any images of the other colours online, but the design on the front remains the same. Overall, Bhutan is a tiny, isolated, Buddhist, eco-friendly, Dzongkha and English-speaking nation trapped in the Himalayas which loves spicy food.